In the book of Exodus, God comes to Moses and he says, Moses, I have chosen you. Moses is fighting with accepting this assignment that God has called him to do because Moses feels like, God, I am not worthy. Now, a few chapters before this, you have to understand Moses had killed someone, and Moses had also just found out that he was not an Egyptian. Even though he was raised as an Egyptian, he was all along a Hebrew. So I can see why Moses may have been at fight with accepting it, because God is calling Moses to go back to the very land of where he had killed someone, in the very land of where he had just found out who he was. And so Moses was looking at the war. Moses was looking at the wounds, but Moses was not looking at the win. He lost sight of the win because he only remembered the wounds. Moses had already set up himself a new life. He adjusted to this identity that he created, and everything was going oh so well for Moses. But what Moses had to understand is that what he created was not what God called. So it did not matter what it was giving him. But you have to understand is that Moses had created and accepted that life just to avoid the version of him that he was not ready to face. And now God is coming in here and interrupting it with an assignment. And Moses is like, God, I let that me go. That me that I knew a long time ago, I've been let that me go. But just because Moses let that version of himself go does not mean he ever faced that version of himself. See, in order to be let go from it, you're going to have to first face it. And Moses had to face who he was then in order for him to step into his now or who he needs to become. See, when Moses left prematurely, and God had to send Moses back to the land, not to punish him, but to position him. See, when Moses left, he left a piece of him behind, and God needed Moses to go back and get that piece of him so that he could have peace within him. And when Moses went back to go and get him, it was not to go and get who he was, but it was to face who he was so that he can walk into who he needs to be. And the second time he went back, God had gave him instructions this time. And what I'm going to tell you right now is that when God sends you back, he's going to give you instructions. The first time you left prematurely, but God said the second time he's going to give you instructions. And when you walk into these instructions, this time it will not cost you. It is going to catapult you because you allowed him to lead you.